Hi, you guys. I want to read to you out of the book of Isaiah, beginning at chapter 30. And it says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that make counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be a shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. For his princes were at Zion, and his ambassadors came to Hanes. They were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor be any help nor profit, but a shame, and also a reproach. The burden of the beast of the south into the land of trouble and anguish, from whence come the young and old lion, the viper, and the fiery flying serpent. They would carry their riches upon their shoulders of young asses, and their treasures upon the bunches of camels, to a people that shall not profit them. For the Egyptians shall help in vain, and to no purpose. Therefore have I cried concerning this. Their strength is not sit still. Now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever, that this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits, get out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us." This was Isaiah being a messenger, a prophet. God has told him to go to the people, and to write it down on the tablet, to write it down in a book. Now go write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever. So God commanded Isaiah to write this down and take it before the people. And when he went before the people did not want the prophet to speak truth. And it says here that this is a rebellious people, lying children that would not hear the law of the Lord. The children, even today, people don't want to hear the gospel. People don't want to hear what's in the Bible, because their ears are closed and they're shut off. They don't want to hear the truth. And it says here, verse 10, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. They didn't want the prophet to speak to them, telling them the truth and the things that are concerning them, but speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. They want the prophets to prophesy deceits, deceitful things to them, not the truth. You know, when a prophet comes and the prophet is saying, oh, it's okay, you can worship idols, and you can do blood sacrifices, which was not one of God's commandments. God was the blood sacrifice. So today we don't have to do blood sacrifices anymore. But those who do, those are witches and people that do voodoo and all that other stuff. So I just want to share this with you. And at verse 11 it says, get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. They didn't want to hear God, like I said. The people were telling Isaiah, get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, telling him get out of our way, get out of our path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. And they were telling Isaiah that tell the Holy God that to cease whatever he's doing. We don't want to hear from him. And then verse 12 it says, wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. Because here it says in verse 12, wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, be ye despised the word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon. So God was saying, because you wanted me to stay away and you wanted to do your own thing, oppression and perverseness will be on you. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach. The iniquity is the sin. The iniquity is the disobedience. That this shall be a breach, meaning that their breach is something that you break, that you have disobeyed the rules, the regulations, the law. So there's a breach. It's something that's broken. You have broken the law. You've broken the commandments. So this breach, I'm trying to get back to it. Okay, 13. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach, ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. So because of your disobedience, everything is going to break, everything's going to swell, it's going to come upon you, and he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a sherd to take fire from the hearth, or to take water withal out of the pit. For thus saith the Lord God, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall be saved, and in quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, and ye would not. Okay, so to read this to you, may the Lord add a blessing to the reading and to the hearing of his word. I have read to you Isaiah chapter 30, verses 1 through verse 14. Let me read 16. But he said, no, for we will flee upon horses, therefore shall ye flee, and we will ride upon swift, therefore shall they that pursue you be swift. 1,000 shall flee at the rebuke Of one at the rebuke of five shall ye flee, till ye be laughed as a beacon upon the top of a mountain, and as an ensign on a hill. And therefore will the Lord wait, that he may be gracious unto you, and therefore he will be exalted, that he may have mercy upon you. For the Lord is a God of judgment. Blessed are they that wait on him. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading and the hearing of this word. Read this chapter, Isaiah 30, verses 1 through 18, so you can get a better understanding of it. God used messengers, God used prophets, God used people that will get his word out by any means necessary. Even today, God is using people. Everybody's not perfect, so those that will make themselves available to preach the gospel, to read the gospel, it's a cost, and it's a weight, meaning that you are responsible to do this. So thank you for listening. God bless.